So you're coming to Paris for the Olympics, and you also happen to be a big-time coffee lover, which leaves you worried. Will you find a great flat white between events? Well, you're in luck, because I've lived here in Paris for most of the last decade and been witness to the great awakening of specialty coffee here in the city. You might be thinking Parisian cafe culture is legendary, which is true, but the stuff in the cup doesn't always live up to the hype. But that doesn't mean there aren't great options on hand, and fortunately, there are a bunch that have popped up within walking distance of the central event sites for the Paris Olympics in 2024. So today we're gonna take a quick look at some of those event sites, and I'm gonna show you how to find coffee a quick walk away from each of them. I'm Jay Swanson, and this is Paris in My Pocket's 2024 Guide to Finding Great Coffee near Olympics event sites. Let's go. Café Kitsuné is one of those really fun spots that I love to recommend, not only because the coffee is good, but because it's a clothing stop. And as our first stop, the farthest east stop in our trip west through Paris to see all of these Olympic sites, this isn't even the most fun location that I'm at right now. This is the most convenient location, directly located across from the Tuileries Gardens. In fact, directly across from the metro station that you won't be able to access for a little while. But that's your landmark. Find that metro station, cross the street, and you have found yourself some delicious coffee and perhaps a shirt that you can take home as a souvenir. But the coolest location that they have, and one of the coolest locations for any coffee shop in the entire city, happens to be in the Palais Royal. Not that far from here, across from the Louvre. It's a royal garden that used to be also a brothel. Different history for a different time, but they've got a little coffee shop in there as well, so you can grab a coffee and take a stroll through the park and enjoy the fountains and a little bit of peace and quiet away from the madness that is sure to be consuming this area. But speaking of madness consuming this area, we want to go just down the street towards Place de la Concorde, and our second location, not terribly far, and very conveniently located for perhaps a kickflip or two. Of course, you can find this location and so many like it, so many great spots for coffee, drinks, everything around the city. All my recommendations at parismypocket.com. Go grab that right now. Save yourself the time of writing all these notes down. Just enjoy the video. Lots of inspiration in here. If you find yourself in Place de la Concorde, perhaps for a little bit of skateboarding, you're in luck, because if you walk just to the northeastern corner of the Tuileries Gardens and straight up the street, on the other side of where I'm standing right here, basically, you're gonna find Noir by Concorde. We've got two Noirs in this one just because they happen to keep placing themselves in really good locations. Spoiler alert, but Place de la Concorde itself is impassable, like you can't get through it. And in fact, I'm not sure how I'm gonna get there on my bike right now. It's gonna be a really fun little way of, we'll figure it out. I'm not worried about it. But if you find yourself there or getting out at like Madeleine, the metro stop, to walk down towards it, you can make a little deviation, take a stroll down Rue Saint-Florentin, and you'll find yourself in a nice little spacious Noir where you can have a little seat or grab your coffee to go and bring it with you for the next event. You're gonna enjoy chugging it Olympic style anyways. You'll get the gold for quick chugging. The weather really doesn't know what it's doing. It goes from cold to hot and I have to suffer for it. So I've gone from hot to cold, a little bit of cold brew here at Noir Concorde. Honestly, this is going to be a great spot if you happen to be in central Paris, whether you're wandering past the Tuileries to anywhere else, or you happen to be at Concorde for an event, or you get at the Madeleine just because you didn't realize that the metro was going to be closed on the next stop. Whatever works, these guys will get you caffeinated, buzzing, and really ready to roll. We're going to talk a little bit more about everything that they offer, but one of the things that I wanted to say about all the places that I'm recommending today is that not only are they specialty coffee with really good quality, well-roasted beans and friendly baristas, but they all also offer oat milk as an option for those of you that don't drink cow's milk, or lait de vache, as you'd say here. So if you're gonna go for something pure like this without any milk at all, or you wanna get something with a little bit of the veggie variety of milk, then you should be in good hands at places like Noir. And the next spot we're going to, which is just down the way. And by just down the way, I mean it actually is a fair ways away. It's gonna be on the other side of the Grand Palais. If you find yourself behind the Grand Palais, walking more towards the Eiffel Tower than towards Les Invalides, which is where we'll go next, you're gonna find yourself at Pont de l'Alma. Pont de l'Alma is one of the main crossing points, and while they might consistently tell people to get out of the metro at Alma-Marceau here to walk to the Champ de Mars for the stadiums there, it is a long walk. So you're gonna wanna caffeinate before you make your way that way, and thankfully, you're in luck. Just around the corner, right past Crazy Horse, the only real reason anyone should come down to this neighborhood, you will find Café Nuances. One of my favorite roasters in Paris. They have 3 locations now, one of which is very conveniently located just around the corner from the metro station and has phenomenal coffee. They've got pour over, they've got espresso, they've got some really nice pastries. They don't have a toilet, be aware of that. So if you're looking for one, that's one of the drawbacks to Café Nuances. But otherwise, the staff are super friendly. They'll make you a matcha with strawberry, apparently. That's a new thing that I just saw today. And just in general, make you a great cup of coffee with a really nice bright orange cup that'll stand out and let everyone know how classy you are when it comes to your coffee drinking selections. Definitely grab a coffee before you walk to the Eiffel Tower from here. But before we get to the Eiffel Tower, let's head to Pont Alexandre 3 and Les Invalides. Got a good option for you over there as well. Of course, the other reason you might come down here is for the Statue of Liberty flame, which everybody thinks is here for Princess Diana. Technically it's not, but basically that's what it is now. It's a memorial. Les Invalides is set to host archery, and on the website it says athletics and road cycling, although I have no idea what that means. Maybe it's just because the marathon's gonna run through there, something like that. But the archery looks like it's gonna be really cool. And if you happen to walk out alive, nobody accidentally puts an arrow in your leg, you might take a little stroll around behind Les Invalides. You'll notice that the museum itself, like the Museum of the Army and so forth, Napoleon's tomb, should all remain open. Just go around to the left, and then go a little farther and take a left on Rue de Babylone, and you'll find Coutume. Coutume is one of the OG coffee roasters in town. There are a handful of specialty coffee roasters that have been here for longer than I have, and this is one of them. This is their flagship location. It's fantastic. They've got a lot of different random options for food, including I got their cheese toasty. This vegetarian grilled cheese sandwich looks enormous. Like monstrous. Coutume has a lot of space to sit inside. They also have a terrace outside, so if you'd like to come sit outside, grab a cold brew if it's hot, or if the weather continues to pretend it's spring, it's July, and it was raining this morning and it might break 70. You might want to sit inside. Don't sleep on the veggie options. This has pesto, spinach, green apples, and an onion confit, all toasted together. It's delicious. Anyway, if you find yourself on the west side of Les Invalides, make sure to check out Coutume. However, if you're happening to walk towards Champ de Mars and the Eiffel Tower, I have 2 more options for you that way. So you found yourself on the Champ de Mars and you're in the arena here and you're watching a little bit of judo or maybe some wrestling and you're feeling the need for caffeine or a breakfast burrito or a Dutch pancake in a skillet. Both meat and veggie options available. You're gonna wanna head to Zia, literally just 2 blocks away. You walk down to the intersection, cross, and they're right there, Zia. Super good. They've been around forever. They're opened by an American from New Mexico, Justin, who also opened a restaurant that you might know from my vlogs if you've been watching, Milagro. Both options are by far my favorite options in the 7th, but Zia is gonna be a great spot for brunch, lunch, coffee. Great cookies, brownies. They've got a breakfast burrito, which is probably the only breakfast burrito in Paris. I mean, there are people that claim to make breakfast burritos, but it's kind of like the kebabs that claim to be tacos. Generally not a good idea. Justin and his team are super friendly, great customer service, and again, right down the street from the end of the Champ de Mars. It's finally starting to warm up around here, just a little bit. We have high hopes for the summer across the board. Anyways, Terres Café, a great specialty coffee shop that really focuses on the coffee. They do have some great pastries as well, but if you want to come in and get something iced or a flat white, whatever it is you're looking for, they're only going to be 2 blocks. This location specifically is only 2 blocks from the Champ de Mars, where the rest of their locations are out on the other side of town. This one is very conveniently located from the volleyball pits, the beach volleyball pits. The very famous, like the arena that everybody's pretty excited about with the Eiffel Tower in the background. It's a pretty good backdrop. I don't know exactly where you're going to be able to exit that arena, if it's on this side or the other side of the Champ de Mars. So we're going to have to figure that out as we go. But at least by distance, as the volleyball flies, you're only 2 blocks away. So it should be fairly convenient. And I don't know of a place that's gonna be more convenient. Although I do know some places that are gonna be better for brunch than here, the other direction, but you're gonna wanna get my guide at parisinmypocket.com. They're in there. If you've been following me for a while, you know a couple of them because they're good old friends. But of course from here, we can't really see the Eiffel Tower as easily because the Champ de Mars is blocked off, but there is a famous view that's still available on the other side of the river, and there's coffee just down the street from that too. Let's head to Trocadero next. Oh man, I'm gonna be like shaking after this one. Just remember that the week leading up to the opening ceremonies and the opening ceremonies themselves, Trocadero is gonna be pretty well locked down, along with a number of other areas along the river. And we put a bunch of links below that video that we've updated as things have been updated, you know, as we go. Anyways, let's go get some coffee. Noir Passy is pretty spacious, which is really nice. It's one of the bigger ones. There are a few that are sizable, but this is kind of leaning into the bigger and more natural light variety. And it happens to be just up the hill from the very famous Bridge, where you can get some phenomenal shots of the Eiffel Tower as you happen to wander by. You can take a drink to go. They have cold brew usually, so when it's hot outside, get an iced coffee or a cold brew to keep yourself cool, and tiny little seats that somehow Cooper's managed to remain perched on despite the fact that I've invited him to get down multiple times. Coop, do you want to get down? You can get down if you want. I didn't want to double down on noirs in this video, but they're really conveniently located for the Olympics, so be sure to check my guide for like more of those locations, or just follow them on Instagram. Of course, whether you're coming to Paris during the Olympics, between them, or anytime after, you're going to want my guide at parisinmypocket.com to get away from the crowds, get out into the city, into the parts that tourists never find, and even a lot of Parisians don't know exist, and find way more great options for amazing coffee like this, including Café Nuances' original location in a really fancy location. All of that's included in my guide at parisinmypocket.com, including an interactive map that'll geolocalize you and let you know where the best stuff is nearby. From coffee to cocktails, breakfast to dinner, all my favorite stuff to do, see, eat in the city, along with a bunch of articles that has all my knowledge on having the best time in Paris possible. Go grab my guide right now. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, if you just want some more help here on the channel, we've got videos on how to use the metro, how to order wine, and of course, the deep dive into everything you can expect from the Paris Olympics in 2024. Navigating those will be tricky, but I believe in you. I think you can do it. If I can manage it, anyone can manage it.